Good afternoon. This is HorseRacingNation.com handicapper Jared Horak. This is my final 2012 Kentucky Derby Contenders video. We've actually made it to Derby week now. They're going to be drawing the post positions on Wednesday. It's Monday afternoon right now. And my first Kentucky Derby Contenders video was last September, on September 9th. And I actually did a blog with that one as well. And three of my top five contenders from last September have made it to the Kentucky Derby. My number 1 last September was Alpha. Number 3 I had Union Rags, and number 5 Creative Cause. They're all solid contenders heading into the first Saturday in May. Let's talk about some of the other contenders. Bodemeister, he's going to be an unraced 2-year-old coming off of a very impressive win in the Arkansas Derby. And we have not had an unraced 2-year-old win the Kentucky Derby in 132 years. He's also coming back in 3 weeks, and he's going to face a tough pace scenario. He is training very well, and he'll probably stalk the pace, but he seems best setting the pace. A couple horses have had setbacks on the road to the Derby, which is never good. Doulahan had a couple this year. He had a fever earlier in the winter, and then he had a minor split injury prior to the Bluegrass Stakes. Now, he did win that Bluegrass Stakes impressively, but he's 2 for 2 at Keeneland. He's 0 for 3 at Churchill Downs. We'll have to see how he handles that main track. The pace does look tough. Typically in the Kentucky Derby, the pace scenario for the first quarter is around 23 seconds, for the half around 46 seconds. And when you look at the pace this year, you have Triniberg, a sprinter stretching out, Hansen, Bodemeister, Take Charge Indy, and then you have Gemologist, and I'll have another. They're all quality horses that like to be on or near the lead, so I think the pace is at least going to be as fast as 23:46, if not quicker. Now, the traditional road to the Derby, a Creative Cause, is if you like the traditional way that horses used to come up to the Derby. This is your horse probably. He's had 8 lifetime starts, 4 wins, 2 seconds, and 2/3. Now, he's had 5 starts as a 2-year-old, plenty of foundation, and he's run 3 times this year. He started out at 7 furlongs, then he went to 1 mile and a 16th, and then he went to 1 mile and an 1/8, and now he's stretching to 1 mile and a 1/4. So he's really a traditional contender from back in the day, how they used to prepare horses for the Derby, and he does look solid from off the pace. Now, if the track happens to come up wet, I think El Padrino could be your one. He really does like a wet track. He's run well on a wet track twice. He looked very good beating Take Charge Indy in the allowance race at Gulfstream Park. That was back in January, and then he won the Grade 2 Risen Star after that, before disappointing and finishing 4th in the Florida Derby. Now, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile was really a key race from 2011. In that Juvenile, we've had 8 horses come back and win graded races, and they're all running in the Derby. Hansen, Union Rags, Creative Cause, Doulahan, Take Charge Indy, Alpha, Daddy Longlegs, and Prospective. They're all running in the Derby this year. They all are graded winners that ran in that Juvenile. And then Optimizer also ran in the Juvenile. He's currently 21st on the graded list, and if he gets 1 defection, he'll end up making the field. If you look at the post position draw, you don't want post position 1. A couple years ago, I picked Looking at Lucky. I really liked him, and he drew post 1. He had a terrible trip, and that post is just too tough to overcome. So if a horse draws post 1, that's probably going to be very difficult to overcome. Now, right now, before the post draw, after everything, after looking at all the preps and doing all these videos and covering these horses since last September, my top 5 will be Union Rags, Creative Cause, Alpha, Daddy Knows Best, a late runner who's won twice at 9 furlongs, and then Gemologist, who's undefeated. So they're my top 5 at this point, but I'm still going to wait for the post draw and see how that shakes out before making my final decisions. Good luck in this 2012 Kentucky Derby. This is HorseRacingNation.com handicapper Jared Horak. Good luck at the races.